Welcome back to NewsMakers. On the panel, Alec, Chris Hutching and David Lynch. Well, Canterbury University's designs on the Arts Centre continues to bubble with interest. The City Council has just commenced a consultation process which is focused on the financial arrangements that the Council is extending to the project. But could this whole project be in legal jeopardy given the Arts Centre tweaked its trust deed to enable this building to be developed? David Lynch, of course, is his firm is advising Richard Sinke and the Ducks Deluxe. Do you think you could have a killer blow here, David? Well,
no. Thanks for pointing that out, Mike. I am advising Richard along with Wynne Williams' lawyers. Look, I think the matter's now clearly where it should be, and that's sadly in front of the Attorney-General, who will be asked to determine whether, in fact, Richard and through his lawyers have got it right in terms of their assessment about the lawfulness of what the Arts Centre Trust Board believe that they can do. Our client's very firm on the view that they can't proceed. The Council doesn't seem to have any definite legal opinions as to whether they should be supporting it or not, despite the fact they've told councillors that they have got legal opinions. They've yet to actually produce solid legal opinions for councillors to view. I think it's unfortunate that the Arts Centre Board a few years ago decided that the best way they should operate on behalf of the City of Christchurch is to close the doors and operate behind closed doors. Their AGMs are not conducted publicly and they appear to be sort of self-appointing. So they've got some issues, and one is accountability, and this building effectively is the catalyst for change at the Arts Centre.
On the broader front, Alec, the Arts Centre Trust Board's role in this, I mean, it is interesting perceptions because, as David has referred to, I have spoken to a number of people who are interested in this particular conservatorium idea and do wonder, why does the Arts Centre Trust seem to operate in a virtual vacuum? They don't seem to engage with the public, yet they are managing that huge, precious heritage precinct on behalf of the people of Christchurch. Should they be more user-friendly?
You mean, should there be more transparency as it relates?
Absolutely.
The difficulty is when you have transparency, as the local MPs are finding right at the moment, as soon as you have transparency, then you get attacked on all fronts because you have been transparent. But look, the last time I was here, Chris Doig was with me, and he gave some very good reasons as to why the building shouldn't be built. And those reasons still stand. There are a range of other buildings that could accommodate the intent of what the university wants to do. I'm a little blasé about the whole thing. I've looked at the design of the new building via the paper. It seemed to blend in reasonably well with other activity, but I can understand those who are around, who have had the open space until now, will feel congested should the building proceed. So good luck to David and his legal team. But in the end, this city needs progress, and perhaps that progress includes a little more communication and a little more understanding amongst all groups.
Is this a done deal?
I don't think so. It's obviously somebody's pet project. I don't quite understand where it's coming from, to be honest. Like Alec, I'm a wee bit blasé about the merits of it. I have looked at it from the student's point of view, though, and done a wee bit of research here, Mike.
The student's point of view?
The student's point of view.
Did you play the cello?
Well, I did once upon a time. How'd you know that? Anyway, I talked to a friend of mine at university, and he did a bit of research and found that the vast majority of students take other art subjects aside from music. So what I just wonder is how are these kids supposed to be getting from town to Ireland in 10 minutes or whatever it is it's going to take to get to their other studies? Or will the whole scheduling have to be changed around?
An ECAN organised bus.
Well, Bob has this fantasy of a tram to the university.
Yes, I hear that the plan is to bring the tram or the light rail from the airport past the university, past the Music Conservatorium, past the Civic Building, and then link it up with this multi-million-dollar underground super bus exchange that has yet to be dug somewhere in the city.
By the way, your client, the Ducks Deluxe, are they prepared to fight this issue all the way to the Environment Court?
Well, I think that at this stage what they've said is that let's look at the correct processes first, and they are clearly focusing on the Arts Centre Trust Board and whether, in fact, what the Arts Centre Trust Board believe is lawful. Of course, Richard is saying it's not, and now it's gone to the right body to test that, which is the Attorney-General. He will make a determination, then refer it, if he feels there's an issue, to the High Court. As to the environmental issues, if it ever got that far, our client would be joining many others, no doubt, in arguing that.
Right, which, of course, would bring to mind a little bit of déjà vu here, apropos Canterbury Museum's redevelopment. Are we on the same trajectory? Is there that possibility, do you think, Alec?
Yes, there is. But in any application for a resource consent, you can object or you can lodge a submission in support. And as David said, there'll be many people who wish to object, and it will be a very substantial hearing.
Okay. Now, on another civic matter, the new civic building, of course, is taking shape adjacent to Worcester Boulevard. And the jungle drums were activated a few weeks ago concerning the neighbouring sites adjacent to the new civic building. And was the council keen to ascertain air rights over those sites so that the northern sunlight and the undisturbed views remained exactly that, undisturbed? Mayor Bob Parker confirmed on News Talk ZB on Wednesday that the council is very keen to get a hold of the White House site, which is adjacent to the main entrance on Worcester Boulevard, and the air rights. Questions remain over exactly what the council is seeking to achieve in its negotiations with the Canterbury Club. Transparency doesn't seem to be part of the equation at the moment. Chris, what do you know?
Well, I do know that I wrote a letter to the council asking about this matter 2 to 3 months ago, and I was given a firm denial. Now, we know that's not correct, so you know, that's by the by. I don't entirely disagree with the idea of keeping heights down in that area, but it is rather hypocrisy for the City Council to be doing this now to protect their views when we have had an inner-city group called Icon, was it, that has been trying to keep these levels low for years and been defeated.
So if the city plan was in order, they wouldn't have to go on this sort of buying mission, would be your argument.
I don't know how much it's going to be, but I guess money's no object.
What do you think, Alec? Should they pursue air rights?
If I were the City Council, I would be pursuing the possible purchase so that they then can determine any development that then occurs on those sites. There is no doubt that it would not be in the city's interest, and I'm talking about the council's interest, to have another multi-storey building overtowering them from their perspective. Now, whether the people of Christchurch are quite happy with that is another story. I don't have a problem with the city themselves land banking land for other activity within the 4 avenues, and in fact am encouraging them to land bank land in order that we have high-rise development which is of the highest quality, rather than what I call the cheap crap that has been built in recent times by developers on lots that are too small for the type of development they're building, and therefore creating difficulties for neighbours around. I think that we can have good development and that the council should land bank and purchase for that purpose.
David, I heard Bob Parker say to Alec Jones on Wednesday that the council would not want to see another club tower go up on that White House site. So why was that club tower ever allowed to go up?
Well, given the speed in which the council moved and purchased the post office building, it's no wonder that they've now discovered that they've got views potentially being blocked. But I think we need to be really clear here. From what I've heard, the council's not necessarily wanting to restrict total development on the opposite sites. They just want to ensure that the mayoral's suite and the CEO's office don't actually get blocked out. So I think you might see buildings up to 3 levels, but anything above, that's that. And I think, Mike, though, to be fair, and I say that with a bit of jest, the mayor and the CEO need to realise it's not their money that they're spending, and they need to be far more transparent. And first and foremost, they need to inform their councillors, because what I heard this week was, on Alec Jones' show, many councillors were hearing, for example, that the council have eyed up some other properties, and councillors were hearing this for the first time on News Talk ZB. Now, I think that's totally wrong. They are there. It's not just a case of the mayor and the CEO running the city, is it? Or has something changed at City Hall?
I couldn't possibly comment. We'll take a break. Coming up shortly, the Eureka Trust. What a tangled web we have here. That's next.